What's up, everyone? We're back again today with another historic Brawl video. Today we're playing Etali. I'm sure you've heard of this relatively new commander. It is a 7/7 legendary elder dinosaur. Has trample. The main clause here is that when Etali enters the battlefield, you exile a non-land card off the top of each player's library. Or I guess you exile cards until you hit a non-land, and then you may cast them for free. So you can cast one off your library and your opponent's library. So you play this giant 7/7 trample creature and get 2 free spells. Now sometimes they're just mana rocks or a mana dork or something irrelevant, but you never know. That's sort of the fun with the deck. You could hit an extra turn spell. You could hit a board wipe. So. Just depends on what the opponent's playing, right? And then once Etali's on the field, you can transform Etali into the 11/11 Trample Indestructible that basically has Infect. So one hit from, one unblocked hit from this 11/11, and the opponent just dies from poison counters. Just a reminder, if you have 10 or more poison counters, you lose the game instantaneously. So our goal with this deck, there's a couple different ways you can build Etali. I've seen it where people put like Panharmonicon and things that double enter the battlefield triggers, which is cool. That's a totally fair way to build it. I didn't build it that way. I built it as a creature deck because I feel like, there's just so many creature synergies with like Tribute to the World Tree and, just getting in and smashing is kind of the general theme of, a big, trampling 7/7. Garruk's Uprising, draw cards for power 4 or greater. Unnatural Growth, double the power and toughness of each creature. So that's kind of how I built the deck. And then I put these really awesome giant creatures in that we can get to, towards the end of the game. But essentially the game plan is ramp. Right? There's a whole bunch of ramp in here. Get to 7 mana, cast Etali, start casting all our other stuff too. So let's see if we can pop off an historic Brawl today. This is definitely one of the quote-unquote hell queue commanders, so you're going to be playing all the other, really strong commanders like Rusko. It's an interesting matchup. Rusko should have a lot of removal for Etali / counter spells. This is a funny green spell. Counter target activated or triggered ability from a non-creature source. No one ever sees that coming. But is this hand good? So we got 3 lands. Ramp source. Let's mulligan. I feel like we can do better than this. This is better. So we actually have I think Rusko's a 3/3, yeah. So we actually have removal for Rusko too, which is great. And we have 2 ramp sources. And Ulamog, I guess we will get there. Want to go first? Now we got another ramp source. Okay, so this was a better hand. 2 or more lands. Okay. Play Mountain Passes. This comes into play tapped unless we control 2 or more other lands. So we want to wait for turn 2 to cast and play this land. Another land or spell, depending on what we need. We could blow up their mana rock. I don't really care about the mana rock because the thing that makes Rusko good is it puts like a midnight clock into play every time it enters the battlefield. So we could blow up the midnight clock, which definitely would turn off their game plan. So why don't we do that? Pass. We'll get our green source in on this land. Now, we could have played this on turn 1 and then had green up. I mean, that's another way we could have done that, but this is the way. This is the path I chose. Sure. I don't really care about your ramp. I care about your win con. So, I think we just ramp here. Right? So into the north is a battlefield tapped. I think Harrow gets us 2 lands. So why don't we just do that? Sacrifice this mountain. We'll go get. Wow, wrecked. Did not see the spell pierce. I guess I could have tried to play around. But I think anything we cast there, except for the creatures, would have gotten dunked. Thankfully we didn't sack our green source. We can play this guy as a land, and we can play... We do have blue up, so let's just play the creature. I mean, they could counter this. It would probably be correct for them to counter it. Unless they have a sacrifice effect like an edict. Siphon Insight. Okay. They want to take cards from our library. They're going to play Toski. It's a interesting choice, but I guess they can draw cards every time they attack with Oracle of the Alpha. So we definitely got to get rid of that. They haven't played Rusko yet, which is good. Because, you know, Midnight Clock takes a while to go off. We drew a land. Let's do that. We could just bolt this. Yeah. They have what? One blue up? One... Oh, they have a blue and a green. So they must have gotten this from the Oracle of the Alpha. See, I've said this in other videos. I truly believe that this card, this alchemy card, puts these things in like the top 10 of your deck. It says it shuffles it into your whole deck, but I firmly believe that they designed this card to put these in the top 10 because they always draw the Power 9 cards every single time. Every time. What's more important here? So we actually have 5 lands. So let's... We already played a land. Ooh, we could Stomper. I can't block quite yet. And this puts land into play tapped. So why don't we do that, and then we'll have mana still to Abrade the Oracle of the Alpha. I really wanted to save this for the Midnight Clock, but I just feel like them drawing that many cards is bad. It's the same philosophy, right? We want to get rid of the Midnight Clock because it's going to draw them cards. So let's get more red, because we have mostly red spells in our hand. We could ramp again. That's probably correct too, but I just feel like we have to get rid of this. They're gonna keep putting time walks and, you know, other stuff. I mean, you know, if they bounce it, they have the potential to just keep putting power. And then they're gonna draw a card every time they attack with it. And at least now we've slowed them down to 1 card instead of 2. And we can't block with this yet, but we're very close. I think it's 7 lands? 7 or more, yeah. So next turn we can start blocking with it because we could do land and then get it a land. Probably, I mean, we're a little bit away from this. Excuse me, my phone. Wonderful. We're a little bit away from casting Ulamog, but I think it's going to be crucial because its effect is a cast effect. So even if they counter it, you know, because they're in blue and they probably have counter spells, the cast ability still works. So we can still exile 2 of their things. Yep, got it. So we could ramp here and then ramp again. Stick. Let's put the Stomping Ground in. It has to come in taps, right? So let's just put it in taps. Let's play into the north. It has to come into play tapped anyway, so might as well grab the tapped snow land. And then do we play this as a land? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have enough for Etali. It would also be good just to blow up some of their stuff. And it hits planeswalkers, which I'm sure they have some. So I'd like to keep it back. This is vigilant, so there's no reason not to attack with it. Unless they kill it right here. They're touching my cards. Okay. Gets in. Go. So they have 2 midnight clocks, but they're a ways away from going off. They need 12 counters. So they want to siphon insight. Rusko, again, you know, I did a video on Rusko, but very broken card. Every time they play a non-creature spell, they get countered on the midnight clocks. They're playing Uprising? They tapped out. That seems kind of strange. Opponent? Yeah. No cards for you. I'm confused. I mean, they can just replay Rusko. They have more than enough mana, but not this turn. Are they going to kill my Stomper? No. They tapped out. So they definitely didn't have a counterspell. Choose land or non-land. I think at this point we want non-land, right? Yeah, let's just go for it. Do you have a Pact of Negation? Is that why? No? Okay. You have a 1 mana black removal spell? That's good. We'll take the ramp. See, look. Right in the top of their deck. It's bizarre. Let's attack. This is red, so I guess we have to use this, unfortunately, but it served its purpose if they kill it. Let's get non-land stuff. Not exactly what we were looking for. Oh yeah, I forgot all my creatures are lands. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh well, I still would have tapped that one. Sure. If they remove Etali, we can play them again. If they have a board wipe or something like that, then we can just play them again. So they may play Rusko here, which I think basically taps them out again. Then how much do we need again? We need 9 plus 1 Phyrexian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we can do it next turn. If they don't put some creatures down or get rid of Etali, we can just hit them for lethal. I don't know if they see that. Because we can transform Etali, and it has Trample and Infect. And they only have a 1/1, so it would give 10 poison counters. So if they don't wipe the board, we have enough mana because of the Shia to just hit in for lethal. They may try to get cute here and just draw more cards with Midnight Clock. They're trying to draw out of it here, so I don't know if they have like a handful of lands. Let's see what they discard. Cut down. Yeah, that ain't going to do it. We're going to play Rusko. Okay. Another Midnight Clock. You're going to attack with your Toski? Okay. I'll block with my 12/12. No cards for you. Why did you block, man? You're going to get a bunch of poison counters. Especially if I draw a pump effect. Great hand, Joe. That's a good draw. Oh, I have... Oh. Wait, do I have enough to do both? Because I could exile... I could exile their Midnight Clocks, too. Oh, what do I do here? Oh, there's so many options. This gives me... This is mana neutral because it comes down for 2 and it gives me 2. So let's just play this. That's fine. There's Stick. They have maybe a counter spell with the 2 mana up. Let's... Oh, how do I do this? Okay, so let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we don't have enough to do both. But we could Ulamog them. What do they do against Ulamog? How do they get rid of Ulamog? They have to have an exile effect. Yeah, let's just do this and get rid of the Midnight Clocks. This is how they get back in the game. They can counter this if they want, but it's still going to exile their Midnight Clocks. And I'm still swinging in for lethal. Okay. Okay, so they tails end the effect. However, I still have an indestructible 11/11. And I still have lethal coming at your face. So you block it. Okay. We could play this as a land. Do we have anything that we want back? Oh, the Abrade would be nice. We can't cast it. This, I think, is passed. So let's just play that. So what's kind of funny here is they're going to draw 7 probably, but their Midnight Clocks are so close together that they're going to draw 7 and then draw another 7 almost instantaneously, especially if they play Rusko. But okay. Yeah. That doesn't get you out of the Ulamog issue. Slip out the bat. Why did you... Oh, you just wanted to use it? Okay, draw a fresh 7. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana to get out of this. Okay, 6 mana. Do you have a Blood on the Snow? Because you can... That's indestructible. You can block my... Woo! Taking down Rusko. I don't normally play creature decks, so this is kind of fun for me. Different style of play. Hopefully, at least once in this video, I get to transform Etali and hit in for lethal poison damage. That would be funny. Okay, 3 lands. Garrick's Uprising. Oh, and Tribute to the... Oh, this is a banger hand. Liliana, they're gonna make me sack stuff and discard stuff. So we definitely want at least... We're gonna have to get rid of at least one of these, probably. So we definitely want access to card draw. So... This one's probably better than Garrick's Uprising. So, yeah, we'll play it like this. This will be turn 1, because it's tapped. At least we go first. We have some time before they start getting rid of our hand. Back. Whenever another artifact or creature you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put an oil counter on it, alright? Pay 3. Remove 4 oil counters from Vat of Rebirth. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Alright, well, this is going to take forever to pop off, so we don't care about that. We don't have a turn to play, so let's just play the tap land. Sign Blood. Draw 2, use 2 life. It's a good card. So far they haven't made us discard yet, which is awesome. We have double red, so let's get double green. I guess we'll play this on green next turn. And, ooh, should we do this first? Yeah, we should do this first. Mono Black has a really hard time getting rid of enchantments. We do have some enchantment removal, but it's very finicky. It's like...
No more distractions. Let's drop it.
We are... What puts them under the most pressure? Nissa. Nissa is such a good card, but I feel like this Nissa puts them under way more pressure. Because I get to pump out creatures every turn. This, our lands become creatures, and they're very vulnerable against the black deck. So as much as it pains me, I'm going to get rid of Nissa here. This goes to green. Let's play the Stomper. They could minus her next turn, but that's okay. We got the ramp out. Again, we're just trying to get to Etali. Let's get... We have all green cards, so let's just get more green. That's a good card. It doesn't get around sacrifice effects, but still.
I'm tired of your secrets.
We're at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What does this say? When Garrick's Uprising enters the battlefield, you control creatures powerful. Creatures you control have trample. Whenever a creature with powerful get enters the battlefield. So every time we plus Nissa, we get an effect here. And same thing with this, right? Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, yeah. So that's what we're doing right now. Draw. Sheldred's a problem, but we're doing all right. Let's play Nissa. Unfortunately, we have to take the life, but it'll pay off. Plus, we're gonna activate Garrick. Now, like I said, we gotta find a way around Sheldred, but we have a little time. They might have a Planeswalker removal effect. They may minus here.
Haven't you ever heard of personal space?
This is the better creature. But they may attack him with Sheldred, and I can't block them. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go that route because I can't take 4 and the 6, right? Oh, okay. Resolved. Yeah. We are going to... Let's go get a forest so that we can play Tribute to the World Tree. Not you. There's no point in attacking. Sheldred's just going to block. They could minus Liliana here. Decide his industry fight. Gains me life. I think we're going to get this and get much for us.
You won't be outsmarting me.
Black has no way to deal with artifacts, so this is a good draw. Okay. Let's play the Immortal. It shuts off the Immortal. You don't even have to worry about it anymore. They're at 31. Right now, it's more important to block with this 5/5 if they choose to attack than it is to get them down to, whatever that would be. Reason being is, they attack with 4, and then we take 2 each turn on our cards. We're going to draw cards with both of these cards, so we'd rather have the life right now. I think next turn we're going to play Etali and try to get one of their spells and maybe hopefully turn the tide. This is great because it turns off Liliana. The other issue, though, is that we draw an extra card each turn, so we're going to take even more damage. So we have ways to get around the Sheldred problem. It is tough, and a creature doesn't do it. But we do have ways around it, and I think the best way is to try to hit one of their removal spells. We're going to take 4 more here. Rankle's good. Oh, this would be so good if Sheldred wasn't on the field. Oh, man. We just die, right? Yeah, we draw 7 cards and take 14 damage. Yeah, we just die. We draw even more. So we have enough power now to start attacking their life total. So they're not going to be able to they're not going to be able to keep this up forever. So we'll just choose the 3/3 side because we're not going to draw the cards. We would just die on this time. I think we just die in our upkeep. Yeah, we did the thing, but Sheldred just wrecked us. And we didn't draw any like fight spell or any kind of removal. None of these do it. So we will attack with Rankle, but I mean if they're smart, they're not gonna sack Sheldred. You know, each player sacrifices a creature. They're gonna, yeah, Timuret. Okay, so we're gonna sacrifice Timuret. I mean, we have to sacrifice. Good game. Sheldred's a tough one for a creature deck. I was hoping to hit a removal spell off their deck. You know, it's mono black. They have a ton of them. Didn't quite do it there. And we drew a bunch of cards too, so you know, we just didn't draw the right cards to get rid of Sheldred. The only other way for our deck to make them get rid of Sheldred on their own is to create enough board presence or we're attacking them for enough damage where they have to block with Sheldred. But we didn't get to a point where we could do that. I think if we had like 2 more turns, we would have been there, or even like 1 more turn. But it's all good. Double combat, ramp, protection, haste and trample and all that good stuff. Against Kinnan. So we're both kind of doing the ramp thing. Is this good? I think we need to mulligan this hand. There's too many big things in here. We're not really worried about them touching our stuff. It's Simic. They don't have a ton of ways to do that. They're gonna like more likely bounce our stuff. Yeah. We can play lands from the graveyard. That's great with Terramorphic Expanse. This isn't perfect, but we'll take it. We gotta get a green source. We have no green source right now. Hold on. We drew this again. Has anyone noticed that? Like when you play Arena and you mulligan away a hand, you end up with like the same cards? Kind of funny. It's like there's 100 cards in this deck. What's the odds of the same cards coming into your hand? If someone's a math person, go ahead and put that in the comments. I'd love to know what the actual statistical, you know, probability of that is. We'll just ramp here. Again, they're in Simic. They don't have usually removal spells, especially for creatures. You know, they'll have like enchantment and artifact removal. Non-land removal maybe, you know, but really Simic is usually looking to like kind of do the same thing we are, which is just overpower the board. We already played a land this turn, so let's do this instead. We will sacrifice. Oh, if they have a counter spell, this is so bad. Let's sacrifice mountains so we don't lose our only green source. Just in case they have Spell Pierce or something, because that's what happened to us in one of our earlier games. That was rough. So we want another red source and we want a green source. We're a little bit far away from this. Yeah, why not? But could matter. The 1 damage could matter. We have a lot of mana. So if you're not like big into the creature game plan, right? Like all creature tribal. You could build this deck with a more control shell. I mean, there are a bunch of red, you know, damage spells, right? So you could fill your deck with a bunch of those to like keep the board clear and then cast Etali. That's definitely a valid way to play this deck. I think we. Oh. Okay, we have a couple options. We could play Conduit and play Terramorphic Expanse out of our graveyard, keep the ramp going. We could play Nissa and plus to get board presence, because they're going to have a hard time dealing with the Planeswalker. We could play Nissa and minus and start destroying their mana rocks. This deck needs a ton of mana to do its thing. So I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we gotta take the 2. Minus. Let's get rid of the replicating ring.
Vanquish the unfit.
Is this an artifact or enchantment? No. Is this? No. Can't keep track of which creatures are enchantment creatures or artifact creatures. Too many cards. But if they were, we could kill them with Nissa. This is going to be good later on, but we got to get there. Even with us destroying their mana rock, they still had enough mana to activate Kinnan. I really don't like this card. I think this is bad design, but I know everyone loves Kinnan. Like, you know, it's probably the most popular Simic commander, but it's basically just like super ramp, right? And then, you know, you start basically doing the Golos thing, but in Simic colors. And then they have Hullbreaker Horn. I mean, like, what do we do against that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what this deck does against that. I think Nissa is here to destroy this deck. We'll play Conduit. And we'll... might as well play Terramorphic Expanse to get lands out of my deck so I don't keep drawing them. Let's do a green source. I didn't do the mountain here because we have 2 spells here that are relevant that need triple or more green. We could still get out of this, but it's just they can start returning permanents to our hand every time they cast. Was it every time they cast a spell? Yeah, every time they cast a spell. Is it non-land permanent? So they can't return our lands to our hands. That's something. I think they still have a Kinnan activation here.
You won't stop the coming invasion.
Yeah, let's just get in the next game. I really don't like this card. I really don't. And it's not because I lose to it all the time. I really think it's bad design. They could have even made it like you have to tap Kinnan to do the effect, so you can't just do it 18 times in a turn. They could have made it so that he doesn't cost 2 mana. You know, like 2 mana? Really? 2 mana? Like, not like 4 mana or... I mean, Golos is 5 mana, you know, and it does the same thing. So I'm not a big fan of that card. I'm all about having, you know, fun, right? Like, I think the card is fun. And I like cards that are designed that are fun, but I just think, like, there's not enough restriction on it. Like, it's way too powerful. Way too powerful. if you are playing against Kinnan, the way to beat it is just to remove Kinnan over and over again. But even then, like I've played games where I've removed Kinnan 5 times, and Kinnan comes down and like because they have enough mana rocks and ramp, and they're in Simic, that they just power through it. So yeah, I think if the card was exactly the same and they just added the fact that you have to tap it to activate the effect, that would do a couple things. It would make it so that you couldn't activate Kinnan the same turn unless you had a way to give your creatures haste. And it would make it so that you could only do it once a turn. And I think that alone would balance the card out. But the fact that you can just play it and then do it instantly, I mean, I get why. I mean, Golos is banned, right? I mean, not in Historic Brawl, but in Commander, Golos is banned. And I feel like Kinnan is an even better version of Golos. Anyway, I'll stop complaining about Kinnan. No one cares. Who are we playing? A Layla. So probably artifact deck. They're gonna put a bunch of fairies in. We have 3 lands. We have. This isn't technically ramp, but we do have a bunch of other ramp. I think we keep. This is a good hand for us. This is kind of the only awkward card, but it could help us later. But this is ramp. This is ramp. And they're on different curves too, so or they're on different mana slots. So this is a turn 3, this is a turn 4, this is a turn 5. So this is good. Does anyone else do this? I like my hand to have lands on this side and then big spells on this side. They always the game gives it to you the opposite way, where they put your lands over here. But I feel like, see how like there's more, you can see more of the card on this side, and then it like slowly tapers off over here. I feel like cards with higher mana value should be over here because they're you're not going to play them. Like the more relevant cards should be over here. You can tell me how weird I am in the comments. But I kind of wish this was an option, like at least let people choose, like in the settings, like, oh, I want my hand to be flipped, like mirror my hand so that it comes in like this. That'd be cool. We don't have a turn 2 play, so we're just gonna play this land. This one comes into play untapped if we have 2 or more other lands. So this is a turn 2 land. Cool. Opponent's got all their colors. So this could just be a fairy deck too. I mean, we don't know yet based on what they've done. But if I were building this deck, I would make it an artifact deck because that is the most powerful way to build it. Like this. Let's do it like this so we have like, battlefield. And this is going to come into tab no matter what. So let's do it like that. What do we think? Oh, maybe it's a fairy tribal deck, because I mean that's not the way I would build it. I mean fairies is a powerful archetype, but that's not the way I would build it. I don't think it really matters here. We have all green cards though, so let's just put down the green source. Do we just Nissa here? I mean it's pretty good. If they're a fairy deck, they probably don't have a way to deal with Nissa. And it doubles all our forests.
In this land, we are all connected.
We could. Does it matter? No. It just. Yeah. Okay. That was the right call. my intuition was correct. They did not have a way to deal with Nissa. Alright, let's do one more. I don't feel like we've done the Etali thing in a couple games. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, and you're enjoying the video, please subscribe. It means a lot to me. I'm trying to grow the channel, trying to grow the community. I want to start putting up some commander stuff too. So if you're into commander, which I'm assuming you are because Historic Brawl is kind of like 1v1 commander, you know, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Let's get this channel up and running. We have Goblin Anarchomancer is a good card. Pauper All-Star. These are all good cards. But we're against Kinnan, so like no promises here. I would much rather have a way to remove Kinnan. But I guess we're just gonna try to outramp them and see if we can. This is our only red source, so we gotta play this turn 1. I feel like this is the best turn to play. I mean, look, it makes all of our spells way cheaper. And it's a 2/2. Okay. Oh, we do have a removal spell. Cool. And it only costs 1 mana because of the goblin here. Okay, so this is going to be a land. This is going to, right? Do we do it like this? No. I think we do it like that. Keep Abrade up. If they play Kinnan next turn, I mean they shouldn't, right? They shouldn't play Kinnan next turn. But maybe they're like, oh, this is a creature deck. Maybe Kinnan's safe to come out on the battlefield. And we can just kill it. Delay the inevitable. Instant Heart. We could just Abrade that too. Which is, it might be the right thing. If they don't play a land here, I'm gonna Abrade it. If they play a land, I'd rather Abrade Kinnan. Oh yeah, they're missing land. Bye. Bye-bye. Okay, let's start drawing cards. They might just scoop here if they didn't draw land, or they don't have a mana rock. Okay, they drew a land. So, I mean, Kinnan has to have tons of mana. That's the only way the deck works. What do they do here? Toski is annoying because it's indestructible. Signet does not have to get rid of it. They're just going to play Kinnan. Alright. To block? I mean, because they can't activate it for a while. What do we do here? Do we just Etali? Yeah. Content play. Yeah. Yeah. They have a counter spell? Maybe? A protection spell? A way to phase Kinnan out? Nope. Okay. Well, hey, you know, I mean, I complained about Kinnan earlier, but we outraced him there. Is it a him or her? I don't know. Doesn't matter. We outraced them. So, you know, Etali can outrace Kinnan in the right circumstances, but I mean, we had to have a couple things go our way. They missed a land drop. We had the Abrade for their mana rock, right? You know, I don't know what they could have done with 4 mana, but if this was their only play, like, let's just get in their head for a second. This was not an optimal play to play Kinnan out of the command zone. You can't do anything. It's coming down against a board full of creatures that, you know, these weren't on the field at the time, but these, it can only trade with them. It can't block anything and stay on the field. So I was going to draw some cards. I mean, maybe they wanted to get rid of one of my ramp sources. I don't know, but let's just get in their head. So if their only play, if their best play was to play Kinnan, it means their whole hand is full of 4, 5, 6 mana spells, right? And no lands. They drew a land. And that was it. They scooped on this, right? So just think about it this way. If we hadn't gotten rid of their mana rock, they probably could have started ramping and getting their whole engine going instead of playing Kinnan. But because we got rid of their mana rock, this was their only play. I'm assuming, right? This was their best play to play Kinnan, or their only play because it was the only thing they could cast. And then we just, we got to Etali and did our thing. But that's the way that you have to beat Kinnan. You have to, like, remove all of their stuff. You have to remove their mana rocks. You have to get out in front of them. And, hey, we showed that Etali actually can, outrace Kinnan in the right circumstance. So that's cool. Very cool. I feel like Kinnan is more powerful than Etali. Because, again, Etali has a more powerful... Well, actually, I don't even know if that's true. I was going to say Etali has a more powerful effect because it steals cards. But I actually think Kinnan is more powerful. So, on all fronts, Kinnan is more powerful. Right? It only costs 2 mana. Oops, I meant to go to here. It only costs 2 mana. So, it's much more replayable than Etali. Etali costs 7 mana. Right? But even with that disparity, we still outraced Kinnan. So maybe the right way to build Etali is to put a bunch of removal in. I mean, you could put a bunch of artifact, hate in here, a bunch of land destruction. You could do it that way. You could build a really funny, like, Gruul control shell and then play Etali. Maybe we'll do that in the future. That sounds kind of fun. But if you're into the creature version of the deck, this is a great place to start. The deck list is in the description. I looked at a lot of different other people's builds of this deck, and I ended up building it this way. I changed a lot of stuff, and a lot of them didn't have Escape to the Wilds. If you weren't around during Eldraine, this card is great in this deck. Gruul doesn't have a lot of way to draw cards. I mean, you do with, like, Tribute to the World Tree and Garruk's Uprising and stuff like that. But these need other things to trigger them, right? You need to play this and then play a creature. And it usually has to be a big creature. So you're not always going to have enough mana to do both. Let's say you only had 5 mana, right? This wouldn't draw you a card, theoretically, right? Because you'd have to play this and then for 2 mana, something with power 3 or greater. And then Garruk's Uprising, same thing. Escape to the Wilds, however, you exile the top 5 cards of your library. You basically draw a new hand. And then you can play an extra land this turn, right? So usually one of those 5 is a land. So you basically draw 5. So this, like, on turn 5 or because we're ramping, turn 4 or maybe even turn 3 is an incredible spell. So I highly recommend putting Escape to the Wilds if you haven't already cracked this card. This card is great. Put that in your deck. And then I didn't see anyone playing the extra combat creatures, but I mean, in a creature deck that's going to go big, I mean, put the extra combat stuff in. I mean, that can be, you play this, you play a land, you got 2 combats, the opponent never sees it coming. And then, you got the other staples. So yeah, thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. If you like the video, please subscribe. It means a lot to me. Like the video, leave a comment. How would you build Etali? I think I'm going to try the control version of Etali, sometime down the road. But how would you build Etali? It's a super fun card. I think this is good card design. We talked about bad card design. I think this is good card design. I like powerful effects in Magic the Gathering. I just want them to be balanced. This is on a 7 mana 7/7, right? That, 7 mana spell should be powerful, right? So I have no problem with the 7 mana spell having this great effect, and then the ability to transform, which we unfortunately never got to do, is an even better bonus. Trample indestructible infect creature. I mean, that's super cool. It gives the card more versatility. So I like this card a lot. It's very frustrating to play against. I'm sure you've all played against it in Historic Brawl, but it's good card design. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you in the next one.